Carly, today against Dallas, a lot of players on the rise did have good performances despite the loss. What can you say about the performance of some of your teammates like Alyssa Jensen, who was only 3 blocks short of the league record?
Yeah, I am not surprised by that statistic. It was almost like silly at one point how many balls she blocked. It was like, yeah, it was amazing. I think she is someone who puts in a lot of work day in and day out. So I was really happy to see her get those results. And also for our defense, like it makes it a lot easier having someone like that. Even the balls that she didn't block, she affects the game regardless. You know, she affects their hitters and what we're able to do defensively. So I was really excited for her. I know that we took a lot of swings from the pins and some of those didn't land for kills, but I thought we really were aggressive tonight. So I'm proud of us because it's not easy to scramble in those situations, but I know Paige took a lot of big swings in difficult moments, and that doesn't always, those things don't always show up as like it was an easy kill, it was a difficult kill, but she takes a lot of really hard swings for us, and so I'm proud of her.
Additionally, today the Rise did hit 159, but did hold Dallas to 222 attack efficiency. How are you guys able to hold them to a relatively low hitting percentage, given the fact that the team's top 2 blockers are out with injury?
Yeah, I think just we were really gritty tonight, so I thought we had some touches on defense to just extend rallies and did a good job playing out of that. They have really two of the like best pin duo in the league, so it's kind of hard to defend them. They have the go in tempo and the Bic right behind, so we worked on that a lot this week in practice, and we knew they were going to get some kills. They get a lot of balls, but just our goal was to like hold them to a slightly lower percentage than they're usually at. And I thought for the most part we did a good job of that. We were within 2, so there's like a few that I know we'd want back, but overall I think we did a good job of that.
Uh, you had mentioned the performance of Dallas's pins as well
Mm.
as some other players. How was the Rise offense able to gel, especially in that second set with the victory in that second set?
Yeah, I think that we took some really aggressive swings. Like I said, I think we passed pretty well most of the night. It fell off a little bit at the end on my part, honestly. So I think that when we gave Cam a good ball, she moved the offense around a good bit to like allow us. They have an undersized setter and allow us to kind of like utilize that blocking position. I think Berkeley's connecting well on the slide, and that disrupts their middles. So giving us some seams and trying to work through those seams.
This was tightly contested. Most of the 3 of the 4 sets were decided by 2 points. Um, how thin are the margins for error in this league, especially when you're playing a team like Dallas?
Very, very thin. I mean, you maybe like one set every match you play, you see like a disproportionate score, like 25-16 or something like that. And that's usually decided in like one big service run or, one big lap. So for the most part, the sets feel very tight. And I think we've seen that this season in a lot of games, like from first place to eighth place in the league. There is not an easy match. So you really do have to bring it. And, that's really fun because you're always in it. And it's also, it's a lot, it's a lot of energy, a lot of effort to go to trying to be as perfect as possible.
Cam, Carly Snyder was just in here talking about how thin the margins of error are in this league. 3 of the 4 sets today were decided by 2 points. Um, how thin are the margins in this league for success and failure?
It is just like Carly said, everything is so small, so we really have to pay attention to detail. Everyone on every team has good hitters that are going to kill the ball, and so you make one mistake and then they're right back on your neck. So I feel like the margins are thin, but we still have to find a way to play free and aggressive at the same time too.
Carly did mention when she was in here, she was talking about how you seem to move the offense around really well. Now that you're several games into starting setter for the Rise this season, what do you think you've done well in the matches you've started?
Well, thanks to Carly. That was so nice. I think being able to find a way to find our middles and our opposites a little bit more to take pressure off our outsides so they don't have such a heavy load. And so I feel like that's something that I've really tried to focus on is just finding the middles, whether it's on any type of in front or behind, and then keeping our back or opposite involved as well.
Today, the team was able to hold Dallas to a fairly low hitting percentage, 222 efficiency. How does that help you facilitate the offense when the defense is contributing in that way?
I think it's awesome that we held them to that because it's still a high hitting percentage, but they get so many kills per set. So we're just digging balls. Everyone in the backcourt's getting it up, and so I feel like I can push it to the net even if it's not totally in system and give our hitters a chance to work off the block or hit it straight down, whatever the case may be.
In a set such as, or in a match such as this, how important is it to keep, as a team, to keep the Rise best servers on the service line versus getting run off the line?
I think in practice we've kind of gone to old school volleyball, so where you can only get points when you're on the service line. And so props to our coaches, that's just kind of what we've been practicing. And so whenever our good servers are back there, Carly, whoever else, we're trying to keep them and earn their points when we're serving, not just when we're playing defense to go on some runs.
The schedule doesn't get any easier from here. There's upcoming matches against Dallas again, but also Omaha's coming up and Indy. What does the team need to do to take some of the positive momentum from today forward into those matches?
Mm-hmm. I think the league is more competitive than it's been in the last 2 years. Everyone's beating everyone. So I just think that we're doing lots of good things. It's not like we're getting blown out whatsoever. Again, it was just by 2 points. So I just having a short mindset and one next point mentality is something that we really need to focus on. And I feel like we've been doing well.
Thanks. Coach, Alyssa Jensen played very well today. She had 8 blocks. That was 1 short of the team record and 3 short of the league record. That was to go along with 15 points. What's it like to see her play well, but also see a player that played for you in college then come back and play professionally for all the time she has and be as successful as she's been?
Well, Garva's been a tremendous blocker. Even last year, she was one of the top in the league and just had a real gutty performance today. I mean, she worked her butt off and got herself in the right position at the right times. I thought, never gave up on a play, and so I really love that. I thought I've known Alyssa to be, the kind of player that she is, where she can dominate both in blocking but also in attacking. And her years in college, you get to see what they are and what they can do. And obviously, you raise this to another level. And what do you do there to keep rising your game? And she continues to do that.
Sure. So. Yeah, you've seen with Alyssa over the course of many years, her progression as a volleyball player. What are you seeing out of the rest of the team in terms of the progression this season? Is there a player in your mind that has really sort of progressed and improves
I honestly think that we all have improved, and I think that we're seeing the grittiness of our defense and what we're doing. I mean, we really are playing tough defensively. We need to probably kill the ball a little bit more and do that kind of thing to give us kind of those point scoring opportunities. But we are making it really hard for teams. We're holding, we held them down to 222, which might not sound great, but it really is because they've been hitting higher than that throughout the year. And so I thought we did a good job of getting hands on the ball and doing those types of things. But I like the way our team is attacking, going after teams. They're playing hard, they're playing together, and they're playing to win. So I think that's what I'm seeing the improvement in. I think there were times earlier in the season where maybe we gave up a little too quick and a little too easy, and so I love to see the way that we're fighting back.
Do you think, regarding the team kind of fighting back, like you had mentioned, do you think that's been just a practice, like more practice has helped the team, or it's more a mentality thing? Or
I think it's a mentality thing. I think obviously you do work in practice on getting your block set and people playing around them and doing those things like that. But Morgan obviously brings a certain attitude to the team, but also it's just everybody's just playing real hard. I think we have a great passing, great defensive team, and we want to shine where we can, and that's a big part of it. Yep, playing hard.
Yeah, defensively, the Rise did have a great outing. The schedule doesn't get much easier from here with matches against Indy and Omaha looming and Dallas again. How do you think the team can improve on the positives from today while generating more offense?
Well, I think our mentality is really strong. I think they feel that there are things that we could have been better at today and didn't get those things done. But the attitude of this team is like we gave a couple points up and we had a lull, like we'd give them a couple bunches of points, and we can't do that, and we can't just let that happen. But we know what we need to do, and we're getting ready. We'll be on a plane tomorrow, getting ready for our scouting report for Omaha, and we'll turn the page and we take what we can learn from this one and then move on and go after them aggressively.
Three of the four sets today were decided in 2 points, or were
Yeah.
decided by 2 points.
Yeah.
How thin are the margins for error in the league, especially this season? Cam
Yeah.
was talking about how she thinks this is the most competitive the league's ever been.
I agree. I think it keeps getting better, the league, year after year, and so I think you're seeing a lot of really great players, and so there's no. I don't think there's anybody that can go. That isn't getting challenged across the board. It's always, these matches are always fights, and you're seeing a bunch of people that are kind of like log jammed in there in the thing. Well, that's because it's a battle every night, and it is hard to turn around and just get back on the road and do those kind of things. But we're excited, and everybody gets that, has that. So you have to fight through it, you have to grind, and you have to work hard.
Alyssa, today you finished with 8 blocks. That was 1 short of the team record and 3 short of the league record. What was working for you today defensively?
I think our serve was really tough and it got them out of system, and that helped me just close blocks. I thought our pins did really great at setting the block, and just kind of that gritty defensive, keeping balls alive and just more opportunities.
The team did have 11 blocks, and you had 8 of the 11. What else was going right for Grand Rapids on the defensive side of the ball?
Yeah, like I said, our serving was really tough and got them out of system and just kind of slowed the game down, and helped to see where the ball was going to go.
Today, Paige Briggs-Romine did lead the Rise with 19 points. You had 15 yourself. Carly Snyder had 13. What was working for the Rise offensively, and what can you take positively forward into future matches?
Yeah, for sure. I thought, like I said, we got a lot of hitting opportunities because of our gritty defense, and kind of just keeping balls alive and swinging at some not so perfect sets and just getting those opportunities. And I thought everyone was really aggressive and taking that into the next game for sure, and just using the block and getting points there.
Do you feel any more pressure, given the fact that the Rise, the top 2 middle blockers for the team are out, so you have to play a much bigger role? Do you feel more pressure to perform, or is it kind of the same all the time for you?
No, I think it's kind of the same. Happy to be just making an impact and hoping the best in a quick recovery to the other ones, but just kind of stepping into the role that is needed of me.
Awesome. Coach George, as well as I think it was Cam Turner, did comment on holding Dallas to 222 hitting percentage, and how that was about what you were expecting to hold them to as a team.
Mm-hmm.
What was Morgan Hentz able to do on defense, as well as the rest of the team, to hold Dallas to a percentage that low?
Yeah, the defense was outstanding and just so gritty, and she had the hard-driven balls, she had the off-speed, so really they had a hard time finding the floor.
3 of the 4 sets today were decided by 2 points. How thin are the margins for error in this league, especially this season? Cam Turner was talking about how she thinks the league is the most competitive this season than it's ever been. I don't know what you had to say on that, given that you've played in the league all 3 years.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it's a dogfight every match, and just kind of those little points really catch up to you, especially when it's within those 2. It's just the little things that matter, and the little errors, and the little plays that you can just take you that step further.